They didn't incinerate people here, no. They would send the bodies out. That's why we have to do.
Put a light up there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't think it was done right there. I think they just put it in there.
No, behind us would have been the bakery. That's where they would have had the ovens. This here is smoker. If you go out that door and have a cigarette.
Oh, is this the ball?
Nope. They're all over this place.
Oh.
I tell everyone, floors 2, 3, and 4 are all basically mirrored images of each other. They all have this big room. This big room is called the atrium, and it's the second floor atrium that I like to point out. Because whatever lives in this atrium, it likes to interact with our guests. It's very intelligent. But whatever resides in this atrium seemingly doesn't mind having its picture taken. If you're trying to capture a photo, this would be the room that I would say go through. Now we're going to head out of the atrium and onto the solarium. We got to point out the safety issue. If you shuffle your feet, you might want to pick them up. Because there's a piece of wood that lays in between the threshold of this doorway, and I hate to see someone trip over it in the night early. So we're going to head on out to the solarium. Actually, never any windows behind you all. It was more of a copper mesh screen. Behind me would have been the double occupancy rooms. 2 beds. They would have rolled those beds out here in about the early part of spring and left them out here until about the late part of fall. Now there's a reason that I stopped in front of this room. This room is one of the hot spots in the building. This is where I'm going to tell everybody to go to try to capture some EVP work. This room belonged to 2 sisters. I don't want to tell you anything about them if you don't know, but this room is really easy to remember because it's the only room with a bed in it. And if you try to make contact with these 2 sisters, they seem to respond really well to Elvis. Come down here and play them some Elvis music, and then see what you get from them. Now we're going to walk through the sisters' room and down the hallway. As we walk down the hallway, stick your head into the rooms across from us. If these were the double occupancy rooms, across the hallway would have been the single occupancy rooms, or the terminal rooms. The terminal rooms didn't have access to one of these breezeways, and it was just another way for the doctors to keep that death out of the patient's eyes that they thought had the best chance of pulling through the tuberculosis. So we're going to head on down to Sister's room and point out a couple rooms. This room right here on my right-hand side would have been a treatment room for the white plague. Not only did TB go by consumption, it did go by the white plague because not only would it attack your lungs, it would attack any organ. And heliotherapy is basically a Greek word for sunlight. And I like to say that this room was probably the world's first tanning bed. Now the room right behind heliotherapy would have been a medical dispensary. It's where all the nurses would have got their prescriptions ready to be passed out through the day. Speaking of nurses, the room right behind the medical dispensary would have been one of the nurses' stations. Now as far as Waverly Hills goes, we're kind of infamous for one thing, and that's shadow people. If I'm physically trying to see a shadow person, I always find myself looking in the same area. I'll stand about 2 rooms down from that white door, that white threshold that we walked under, and I'm always looking back to these 2 rooms. Now this first room would have been a dinette, and the room right behind it would have been a kitchenette. If you were too sick or unable to go to the main dining room, this is where you would have gone. And if I can't debunk something I like to at least make sense out of it. And I think I got this one figured out. While they were patients up here, they spent a lot of time. And let's be honest, they were probably really bored while they were up here. I know when I get bored, the first thing I do is eat. And I think that's probably what they did a lot of, was eat that boredom away. That's why this tends to be a more active area in the building. Now, the second floor, I relate to calming. That feeling tends to change the higher up we go in the building. Speaking of going higher up, let me take you to my favorite floor. Third stairwell. It's the first one that you're going to run into on the building on your right-hand side when you're in that main hospital. But this is the only stairwell that's going to be able to take you up to the 5th floor tonight. So with that being said, let's head up to 3 now.
I'm gonna get lost.
Your worst enemy tonight. You see all this horrible light that comes off that main stairwell? It's always a good idea to remember when you come through this door, shut it behind you, and it cuts down on a lot of that light pollution. Now, like I said, the 3rd floor is my favorite floor, but the only thing I want to tell you about the 3rd floor is the nickname we have for it. Between the tour guides and volunteers and everyone up here, we like to refer to the 3rd floor as the touchy-feely floor. Now, I'm going to walk down the 3rd floor and I want to point out one room because I've been getting a lot of activity from it lately. Now, this room would have actually been a minor procedure. Any operation that wouldn't involve anesthetic would have been done in this room. And like I said, this room was one of the last rooms opened up for an investigation. And I've been getting a lot of really good spirit box sessions in here. A few weeks ago, I brought a group of people in here, and we had that spirit box running, and we had a tripwire laid out across the floor. We go in and start having a conversation with each other, not paying much of attention, and all of a sudden we hear light come through the spirit box. As soon as we hear light, the tripwire goes off. And that happened about 2 or 3 different occasions. So it was pretty interesting. So when we leave, we tell whatever was interacting with us bye. And the last thing that came through that spirit box was love you. And then it may sound like, you know, when you tell somebody bye, love you. And that's why I like the 3rd floor so much. Now, like I said, the 3rd floor is my favorite floor. The next floor we're going to is my least favorite floor. They love to say Waverly Hills is one of the most haunted buildings in the world. And I'll definitely attest to it. It's the most active that I've ever got to investigate. But that being said, the 4th floor is our most active floor. When you all leave tonight and I close up, I walk across the 4th floor with a purpose. There's a little bit more of a pep in my step up there. So let's head on up. Right below us would have been minor procedure. This would have been the main OR. The main OR is one of the more active rooms in the whole building. I'm going to tell you, the gurney is a great place to try an Estes method. But I'm also going to tell you, this is where I talk about poltergeist activity. Now, poltergeist is just a German word for noisy spirit, and that seems to be exactly what they are. And they like to make a lot of noise and get noticed. So with that being said, I want to leave you with one warning. When you come up here and investigate tonight, please make sure that that window weight is in the door frame. Because if that door slams shut on you while you're in here, you're stuck. But that's not the door that I worry about. It's that door. Now this door moves rather freely, so you know maybe one of those good gusts of wind blows it. But that door, it's barely on there by its hinges. The bottom of it drags the floor so it doesn't shut so easy. And when it does shut, it makes this really good, stereotypical, spooky door sound. Everybody knows, until it does it paranormally. When it does it paranormally, that door won't make a sound until it slams up against the door frame. And I can't debunk that one or make sense out of it. So, with that being said, we're going to head down the hallway. But the 4th floor, I like to point out, this is where I tell everyone to go do their shadow people experiments. Because we're 4 floors up. You're not getting a lot of that light play from down at the bottom. But I tell you, when you do these shadow people, there's a telltale sign. When you go out there tonight, you're going to notice all that ambient light coming through the doorway. And that's what I pay attention to. Because these shadow people have some sort of mask behind them. And a lot of times that ambient light will do a shift. It goes from light dark to light. And that's the room that I'll pay attention to. So we'll head on down this way and go to probably the most infamous room in all of Waverly Hills.
You just took a picture of this.
I only caught the, like, blue ball in the back.
His flashlight.
All right, like I said, the 5th floor is a lot different than all the other floors. It's only a partial floor. But the 5th floor is a really special floor to Waverly Hills. Because at the time, they thought the higher up in the building you went, the more access you would have had to that fresh air and sunlight. So the 5th floor was reserved for the sickest patients. My right-hand side would have been a 14-bed ward for children with stage 5 tuberculosis. Across the hallway on my left-hand side would have been another 14-bed ward for patients with tubercular meningitis, TB of the brain. Like I said, the sickest of the sick. But like I said also, the most infamous room in Waverly Hills is up here. Everyone knows what it is?
502.
502.
Yeah.
And now you all know why it's so infamous, right?
The nurse.
The nurse. I've heard about 3 different stories with this nurse. And I tell you all, I don't believe a single one of them. But I tell you all that. I don't tell her that. But, like I said, I've heard 3 different stories, and they all start off about the same. She wasn't actually found hanging in 502.
She was in the hallway, wasn't she? Yeah.
She was found by a gentleman named Mr. Thornsberry, who said that he exited off of this elevator one morning and almost ran smack dab into the nurse.
She was hung right there.
She was hanging from a chandelier. You go back and trace that electrical line, and that is what a chandelier
Right in
was.
front of me.
But like I said, I don't believe any of these stories, because what I think is going on here, the Native Americans will refer to it as tulpa. Tulpa basically means speak it into existence. If you put enough thought behind something, it tends to develop an energy in its own. And in buildings as magical as Waverly Hills, that energy finds a way of manifesting itself. Now, we get about the same words from this nurse, and it's words like attack and assault. We've even got my neck on a few occasions, and that's what gets eerily coincidental to me. If you all want to come up and investigate the nurse, I suggest do it. See what she wants to show you. But I'm also going to say don't get wrapped up in that tulpa, because then you miss out on a lot of what goes on up here. 504 is the room that I like to point out. Now, 504, surprisingly, was just a dinette. But that's where I tell everybody to go do their REM pod work. But when you come up here and try to do that REM pod work, you better have a trigger object, do something small, like a little square or a piece of candy. And then you get a lot better results. Now, we're gonna head on down to the body chute, but it's gonna be a little tricky getting to it. So with that being said, let's head on down 4 flights of steps.
Real quick, so while we're here, like, are we able to step out and see the gargoyles and?
Yeah, you can go out either side of these. Right there's a door, it just opens up.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna point out those tarps real quick. Those tarps, when the wind blows, sounds like a stereotypical ghost. So just be prepared when you hear like rattling, it might be that.
Yeah, I thought I heard a ghost in there when we
And
first
then
came
there's little
home.
red zippers on them too that sound like chains jingling. And I don't know if that's
Great.
yeah, but you can also go out that side of the door and have a cigarette as well. There's a smokestack out there. Very ironic.
Where's Lulu at?
There's a linen closet, and that's
Check 'em out, babes.
Wow. Now, I'll tell you all, when I got into the building, I talked to
Say
her
what?
about that homeless man. And she said that he didn't live inside this building, he lived on another building. Yeah, but,
The other side.
supposedly some girls broke in one night, and he chased them off, and they went home and told his brother that he was trying to assault them, and they came up here and took his life and threw him down that elevator shaft with his dog. The equipment for the radio station in that tower. Oh, and if you go in 506, the bathroom across, like right in here, they had the original switchboard for that radio. I've been coming to this since about 2017. Last August, I started volunteering my time. Do you see how that looks really funny right there?
Yeah.
That would have actually been part of the foundation for the original or the second hospital built in 1913.
Oh, there's been more
Mhm.
than one.
When Waverly Hills started, it started off small. It was a 3-pavilion, single story. It only housed about 40 beds. In 1913, they decided to expand, building this 2-story facility going from 40 beds to 140 beds. In 1924, they broke ground on this hospital, and it didn't finish developing until 1926. The original hospital is 187,000 square feet, or this hospital is, and it houses about 500 patients.
Wow.
It's a long walk.
Yeah, a long walk for a little reward. I tell everyone though, you might want to stay on your left-hand side because this big hump of concrete right here is a good trip hazard.
He said he didn't want to come down here.
Yeah, you don't come down here.
Like I said, this is where my scariest part happened at, was down here. I'll come down here, but I don't like spending a lot of time. Like I said, Waverly Hills is an energy-based building, and I believe active in life, active in death. But neither one of those theories holds up down here. When I first got into the building, I always thought, the body chute, they were already passed over by the time they got down here.
Stairs are weird, they couldn't slide down. So. We're listening. Are you going all the way down? You have to come all your way up.
What's at the end, anything?
No, there's a gate and a door, yeah.
How long did they say it was? Like a mile or something? Or?
From this point down to the bottom is 427 feet. That's not the problem. The problem is at about 45 degree angle. Every time someone goes down, they always come back up with the same story though.
What's the story?
Someone's pulling them back down. I'll debunk that for you though. It's not paranormal, it's gravity.
Yeah, it's like slanted this way, all the stairs.
There's 153 steps.
Can we walk right here on this side?
You can walk on the ramp side, but I suggest taking the steps because there's like little pieces of metal halfway down, and sometimes during rains it can get really slick.
Okay.
You staying up here?
Yeah,
But I believe whatever hangs out at the bottom does not like the light. So I suggest when you come in here tonight and investigate, do it lights off, and you get a lot better reactions. Now this is where I bid you all adieu. You all enjoy the rest of your night.
I'm going back with you.
I am headed back to that home base area. I gotta count some tickets.
Laundry?
I don't know, this is what we signed up for, isn't it? Enjoy your night.
Thank you.
You alright?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, and the scariest part of the body shoot is not the spirits, it's the spiders that live up above
Oh, right.
Thanks for that.
I don't want to do this stuff. Or the ramp. Because coming back up, ooh. I might go halfway, but I'm not going all the way down there.
Yeah, that's what I said, I just don't wanna walk back up.
What I had heard
Oh,
is
the
they
gurneys.
on this right here is what they rolled them down on.
Okay, see, my idiot self was thinking they just pushed the body back itself.
I think they did put them somewhere to get them from somewhere to here, didn't they?
Now, the rumor is, and this is the rumor, that door at the bottom, there's some tracks down there. There really are. I know the tracks are down there. Those tracks lead to the Baxter Avenue morgue. That's that's the rumor.
The Baxter Avenue what?
Morgue.
And that was really a morgue back then too, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know the history on that. But I know there are tracks down there. It's the tracks that are
Yeah.
that would cross it. Yeah.
I'd like to look at a map and see like how far the tracks really go down and if it really does go to it. Turn the light the other way. Like that. It's not working.
Yeah, the EMF reader, what is the noise?
I have no idea. Is it like the light? Yeah. It's not coming on. It's good. Go to camera's open. How do you open that thing? Well, she was the light, as you said. The depth of it is crazy. You don't mind my friend pulling it off? It would be nice if y'all wore reflectors. That's a beautiful shape. I can't tell you where it's coming from. I guess I can turn the volume all the way down. Maybe that'll stop it. My phone just went haywire. You hear that?
Oh, I thought y'all had an EMF reader.
No, it's just going here.
Yeah, like something my phone has never done.
I turned it down, but I think it's still
It drains energy and stuff.
I brought like 57 batteries.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Try to turn it off. Yeah, try and reset it. Or restart it. Is that coming from down there? Yes.
Yeah. Two.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Is that an old boiler? I don't know, that's. Oh, that's a, drum trap. So your sink came in here, any particles went to the bottom and then it come up out of there into the drain line. So they couldn't flush stuff, I guess. There's no paint chips, still ain't forgotten about. Those are the best ones. I don't have one of those. All I did it up to it. All I did it up to it, what's the switches? Oh, I want that flashlight. That's two tonight.
That have died out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So was it in here you thought you seen somebody?
Mm-hmm. Favorite tab, Spencer. Saints.
Hit your head on that.
Yeah, watch your noggin on this.
Oh, yeah. Something.
I can't tell if the sounds that I'm hearing are like the other people in the building and it's just echoing.
Yeah, you can hear a lot of cars up the exit too.
Mm-hmm.
Lead paint, my favorite snack. Oh, look, Nikki.
Yeah, little Nikki. Here we go, all right.
Can't take kids nowhere.
Can't think you know where I'm trying to listen.
Quit playing with me.
She did lay on it, I might have called her a bitch.
What was that cracked it like this one? It's really hot right here.
I'm sweating, you're right. Oh, good call.
Shit balls on you? I'm not responsible.
I just got a shit ton of rust on me. I don't know, something just told me to pull that down.
Yeah, this is gonna be my spot later.
So you could bring your sleeping bag here and sleep right here.
I would too.
I bet.
There are those plugs on the side, too bad you ain't got something to plug that, plug in charger.
Oh, this is the room where they keep the doors.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
holy shit.
It's still there, but not where it was when he was up here.
Let's listen.
What?
Oh, that
Wait,
thing.
close it? Close it, but not all,
Hey,
it's red.
That's kinda cool.
Who's in here with us?
I'm ready to run.
Close that again.
Here, you can
That's
hold
set
it.
it off. Here, okay.
One of y'all can hold it. How hard is it?
But it literally.
Holy shit.
Did we scare you with the door?
No, it ain't the
You
door.
left for you to
I'm not talking to you all.
Oh.
do. I wanted y'all to go back in there and get y'all a picture with the door closed though.
Do you not want us to go in there?
It's my
Oh.
fucking phone.
How come your
It didn't do that earlier
Your
though.
phone sets it off with mine, don't it?
It's still going. When he was walking away, it was still going.
Yeah.
I don't, close the door. That's actually really cool. Okay.
How about now?
Taking a shower.
It is really hot up here.
Yeah. I want to go back up to the roof and just stand outside for a little bit.
Yeah, they said there's
Let me
supposed to
see
get
that.
cold, so. Either,
That was my phone.
Oh, you're right.
yeah, either it's just hot in here or the devil's coming.
I don't know, it's really hot. It's especially hot right here. I don't know if y'all can feel the temperature change, but right here is hotter than the rest of the room versus back here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, it's not a huge temperature change, but it's a temperature change. I don't know, but that thing started beeping red and I really got scared.
I got excited.
I did too.
Holy shit,